created could not match the hype and the requirement of the industry. Over a period of time, in next 5 to 6 years, you found that what we call the e-commerce 2.0 begin to give rise to new kind of businesses. So those who had a solid business model like Amazon.com, etc., from the early era survived, but the newer businesses came in. And today, if you see in the hindsight, the e-commerce is here, all around us. Even the physical business which are doing is driven by electronic business technologies behind it. The third aspect which the IT gave rise to was the data aspect of it. While doing all these transactions, etc., a huge amount of data was created. In that data was hidden lots and lots of knowledge. And that knowledge begins to be harnessed over a period of time, and that gave rise to the data-driven decision making, or what we general parlance call it business analytics, etc., and so on. Now, that creation of a hype, crash, and then stabilizing of the internet business, commerce business, it has been over a period of time. We are witnessing the same era again. So the second point which I wanted to make is that this era is going to be the AI era, because AI is the AI has two aspects to it. One is what we call the autonomous technologies, which are going to transform the whole manufacturing business. The second aspect is what we call the general purpose technologies, or large language model based technologies, which is also commonly referred to as ChatGPT in a common parlance, or there are many aspects of it, Claude, Gemini, etc., and so on. But those are the service-oriented aspect of it. There are many of those intellectual jobs, service-oriented jobs, which are going to be transformed by these. So to combine together, the AI technologies are going to transform the whole business aspect. Of course, one can say, again, we are in the same ramp-up stage, the hype will happen, but even if hype happens and the crash happens over the next few years, the technologies are here to stay. Just what we have learned from the internet technologies, in next 10 years, the complete business environment is going to be changed. While the technologies are going to go through their own cycles and changes happen, who will manage those technologies? Because you have also learned last time failure of the dot-com burst did not happen, or the bubble did not burst because of the lack of technology. It burst because of lack of the adequate business models and people managing it. The AI is going to go through the same thing. Technology will drive it, but how it will be applied, will it understand the customer requirement, will it understand the people's requirement, is going to be the biggest challenge. And that is why the new kind of professionals are required, who will understand how AI technologies can be translated and transformed and put into the business use, which are sustainable in nature. And if they are able to put that in the sustainable nature, the applications they create, then those are going to survive. As I said, the Amazon.com survived from 94, 95 all the way until remains a dominant company even today. So this time, as IIM Ahmedabad, we decided we need to fill that void and create this human resource which will understand the marketplace, the human resource, as well as how these new business models, which could be more appropriate and more sustainable in the market environment, can be created. And that is why we are launching today the MBA in Business Analytics and AI, to create that intermediate manpower which understands the technology at one hand, also understands the business and economics environment on the other hand, and then creates and becomes a bridge between these two environments. With that, I welcome you once again, and hopefully we'll be able to do a great job. That I don't think we can avoid the hype and the bust cycle, but probably moderate the impact of it over a period of time if we are able to create enough of the human resource who are able to create the right kind of models and make India succeed in this global competition which is going to take place in the AI hyped environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bhaskar, for that insightful overview. Moving on, I would now like to invite Professor Deeptesh Ghosh, Dean of Programs at IIM Ahmedabad, to share his perspective about the program.
Good afternoon. So, it's a pleasure to welcome you to this launch of this program. And this program, as we see it, is a well thought out step to gear ourselves up for the future. Now let's take a look at how decision making in management has changed over the years. Managers were always involved in solving practical problems. They were involved in solving practical problems, they are involved in solving such problems, and they forever will be involved in solving such problems. But the way in which things were done are different. So if you look at it historically, there always was a paucity of data. You did not have enough data on which you could take decisions. Even if you had data, the problem was you lacked computational power to analyze those data efficiently and in time. And the people who were doing this analysis were specialists who would deal with esoteric problems, and when they dealt with management problems, the management problems looked more like puzzles than real world problems, right? So therefore, traditionally what managers used to do was to pour over a whole lot of problems which were similar to the kind of problems that they would face, and with the insights that they developed on those problems, they would try and handle newer issues that came up. Right? This is what we also at IIM Ahmedabad have been doing in our traditional courses like the postgraduate program, the postgraduate program for food and agribusiness management, the postgraduate program for executives. Now, the world has changed a lot, right? So what has happened now is that we are not dealing with paucity of data, we are actually dealing with data, with an abundance of data, in fact an overabundance of data, in which the problem now is not to find data, but to figure out what part of the data we need to use to solve our problems. The second thing that has come up is that our computational power has increased manifold, partly because of the increase in individual machines, but also because we have been able to harness a whole lot of machines to come together and solve problems. So Professor Bhaskar talked about the internet era. The internet era is one that brought forward this kind of a exponential increase in our computing capabilities. The third thing that has happened is that a lot of esoteric methods have now become packaged into the kind of software that we have at our fingertips. So having done this, the traditional skills of managers are still important, but managers also need to now figure out a way in which they can harness this new technology and this new capabilities that they have. So organizations have also now started realizing that data-driven insight is no longer a support function, it's a core strategy. And professionals who can interpret, question, and apply these insights are the ones who would redefine the leadership in business. So this is what precisely the program is aimed at. It's aimed at developing strategic leaders who are fluent both in business and in the application of technology to business problems. No, we are not talking about developing new techniques per se. What we are talking about is people who understand business, the problems faced by the business, and who are able to harness the technologies that we have to be solving these problems more effectively. So people will learn not only how to predict what will happen, but also to prescribe decision options based on their prediction. So you will apply many types of models that you have, but also be aware that these are not things in themselves, but are there to solve a business need. So in our program, we are basically harping on three different aspects. One, industry relevance. So as we said, we are an applied program, and therefore the program is focused with the industry in mind. The second thing is that we are talking about an interdisciplinary program. So none of these problems appear in isolation, they appear as problems which have to be looked at from different angles. So that is the second thing that we plan to bring in. And the third thing is that when we talk about these kinds of AI machine learning, we need to talk about the ethical usage of these technologies and be responsible for these things. So those are different aspects that we think that this program will address, and we hope to have a program that will create leaders who understand that data is capital, intelligence is the currency with which we can use this data, but finally the human creativity and understanding which is the true differentiator. So I welcome all of you to this launch, and hopefully we'll have a good program ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ghosh, for providing the overview of the program. I would now like to invite Professor Anindya Chakrabarti to walk us through the program in detail.
Thank you. So now over around for 10 minutes, we will go through the details of the program. Information flyer and brochure that you will be able to find online as well on our website. But for the purpose of sharing the information, allow me to go through it. So this is a 2-year blended MBA program in business analytics and AI. So let me just quickly introduce IIMA's legacy. We are consistently the first position holder in NIRF ranking. In Financial Times Executive Education Program, we are typically again at the very top. In Fortune India 24, we have been selected as the best business school, best Indian business school in the topmost position. And along with that, we have a very, very strong global footprint. In the latest ranking, we have been 31st globally speaking, comparing against all universities and business schools all over the world. In Financial Times, we have been 34th in Masters in Management. And then in the QS Global ranking, we have been 60th in the latest edition. So what do we offer as part of this program? As I think our Dean Programs, Professor Ghosh, as well as Director Professor Bhaskar pointed out, we want leaders in the Indian context as well as the global context who are fluent in data analysis, but they are also good with business decision making. So the combination of that is something that we are seeing that there is a dearth of trained human capital in that domain, and that is the target of this program, to fulfill that gap. And in particular, I'd like to draw your attention to this idea that this is not an entirely out and out business program, this is not an entirely out and out technology program, there is a combination of the two. And one of the key idea would be that not only generating insights out of a business problem, but also to take it to its logical conclusion in the form of implementable strategy, which is where the managerial aspect of the program becomes very, very important. And in general, following cue from Director Bhaskar's point, that we see that organizations are changing in real time. And going forward, so earlier there was this AI era, then there was this digital transformation era. Sorry, earlier there was this internet era, and then digital transformation and so on. Now it's clearly the AI era, where we are seeing that organizations are now turning into intelligent organizations with massive overpower of data. And then the key thing becomes the differentiating factor is to figure out exactly which part of the data is useful for its own sake, and which part of the data may not be useful, at least in a myopic way, but maybe in a farsighted way that can become useful. So data selection, feature selection, modeling, all of these things become integral part of this. How do we address this need? This is a statement from our director. Here the idea has been to create a program which bridges the critical gap between business management and technology usage. And in particular, we are focusing, of course, on the business analytics aspect of it, along with AI. What do we offer in terms of the larger perspective with the program? So, of course, IIMA has a very rich legacy in terms of creating impactful business models and creating business leaders. We have a global academic reach. We have some of the best researchers in the country working as part of IIMA today. And we have research excellence in the form of, there are at least 12 different research centers, dedicated research centers which perform research in multiple dimensions along business. We have pedagogical innovation in terms of case-based learning, where IIMA has been a pioneer, historically speaking, along with immersive projects and real-world boardroom contexts that we bring into our classroom teaching. And of course, we are very proud of our alumni network with a global outreach. In particular, this program will allow me to go through the features of it. So it's a 2-year degree program from IIM Ahmedabad. One of the key things that we have introduced is that in terms of industry interaction and being industry ready for the graduates, there are 2 important components of it. So one is the capstone project, and then there is something called action learning project, which is longer than a capstone project. Here the whole idea is that students will get industry ready problems. They will work with academic peers under the supervision of professors, along with potentially mentors from the industry. So not only you have live projects from the industry, but you also have academic projects that the students will be familiar with, and then they will come up with a thesis out of it, come up with an outcome. Then the students will get alumni status. In particular, this is a program for working professionals. So here the idea is that the professionals, those who are already working in their organizations, they can go for their career acceleration, as well as try to find a new niche in their organization for leading the transformation within the organization when the organization is moving towards more AI-oriented setup. And that's where the blended format is very important. I will walk you through some more details about it, but roughly speaking, around 80-20 split is there. So for 80%, it will be a blended, it will be a D2D synchronous mode, where we have state-of-the-art facilities in the campus in terms of studios. Professors will teach from there, and the students will be able to log in from wherever they are, all over India, and in fact all over the world. Anywhere they can log in. There are going to be 3 on-campus immersion modules, because we have seen that historically speaking, that actually adds a lot more value to have the in-person experience in terms of our being in the campus, interacting with their peer groups, interacting with the professors, and of course enjoying the beautiful architecture that we have both in the new campus as well as the old campus. And then the alumni privileges are of course there out of this program. There is an alumni status with lifelong value, global professional network that can be tapped into by our alums. There is a continued learning opportunities for them. There is a exclusive alumni portal access that our alums get. And we have different chapters across most of metro cities in India as well as outside India in multiple, some of the global hubs all over the world. And then of course we have a legacy connection with respect to the institute, and we are deeply invested in terms of being in touch with our alums, and they are our primary source of inspiration as well, and we really look forward to that. Here are some of the core courses that will be offered. So many of these details you can of course find out from the program website, and also the brochure is there. Having said that, allow me to point out that the core courses has a very eclectic mix of business courses with a lot of principles to different business domains, including economics, finance, strategy, HR, among others. Along with that, a lot of the technical business analytics courses are also part of it. So this creates the foundation for the students in their first year to go through the latest technology, and you'll see that we also have introduced courses on digital strategies, Gen AI, agentic AI, among others, where by the time the students complete the first year, then they will be able to get an overview and bird's eye view in terms of what are the business angles to look at a problem and what are the AI angles to look at the same problem. And then in the second year, we have this, from our point of view, a very interesting innovation in the form of action learning projects, which deeply integrates the student experience with respect to the industry. And list of electives are given here, which will rotate on the basis of the new technologies that come to the market. So in particular, we have deep expertise in terms of supply chain analytics, in terms of fintech, in terms of network analysis, game theory, robotic process automation, dynamic pricing, revenue management, AI ethics and policy, courses on sustainability, among others. Here is the admission process and timelines. I will not go through the exact details here, which people can take note of at a more leisurely pace. But we have already opened our admission portal and we have launched our program. So I welcome interested students to, if you have any inquiries, please do reach out to us. And here is roughly the timeline for the first round of admission. And the way it will happen is that there is, of course, basic selection criteria, and then there is an admission test, or one can come through CAT, GMAT, GRE, the usual route. And then there will be personal interviews, which will be conducted by professors from IIMA. And in terms of work experience, the program requires after standard 12 or class 12, one has to have 3 years of academic experience in the form of, let's say, a BSc degree, and then 3 years of work experience. Or it has to be 4 years of academic experience in the form of BTech or BE, and 2 years of work experience. So sum total is 6 years post standard 12 examination. And it's a two years program. Importantly, these are live online sessions that will be offered over the week, primarily over the weekends, but also on Thursday and Friday in the evenings. And this is one of our iconic architectures in the campus, is a Vikram Sarabhai library. This is something that we describe as the Louis Kahn Plaza. It was made by a famous architect named Louis Kahn. And this is one of the best libraries in the country. Very well stocked, almost state-of-the-art facilities in most of the things. And we have a very, very large collection of academic resources. We have a very large computational hub here in the campus, which again complements the existing offering in the form of a high-performance computing center as well. So these are the learning resources. This is going to be the program fees for 2 years, 20 lakhs, and then here is a split. Along with that, the start date and the end date is given for the inaugural batch. So the next batches will, of course, be in synchrony to this. And this is, I think, our IMDC in the new campus. And I guess you already know about IIMA, so I'll not repeat that. More importantly, I would request you to take a look at the inquiry email ID, because that's going to be important for anyone who wants to ask any questions. We have a very active office team. And here are the phone numbers. If you have any questions about the program, about the fees, about the course structure, anything, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be very happy to answer your questions.
I am Rafat Kadri. Professor Bhaskar. Yeah. I'm Rafat Kadri, editor of Bilkul Online. My question is, you spoke about the void and dearth of, Professor Anand said that there is a dearth of trained or intelligent managers. I want to understand what is the magnitude of this void, how big the void is.
The void I'm talking about is going to grow as the AI technologies come in. Today we have people who are self-training themselves to become the AI-enabled managers. But there's no formal program.
Exactly.
As the AI grows, and you see in every aspect of life and every corporate environment, the AI impact is being felt.
Exactly.
Now, some people will be able to self-train themselves, but we need to have accelerated program. So void is always going to grow big as the AI penetration in the organization continues to grow. Today itself there's an acute shortage of people who are able to actually, if an organization today was that I want to transform and deploy AI enablement in my organization, I don't think within the organization there are very many people who are able to do it. So as organizations are ready to go, the void is not measurable today. It's a huge void. And that is where we are trying to fill that void. At least prepare young trained manpower who will be able to lead such projects.
and it has been, please take it positively, but then it is more of, old wine in new bottle. Like how are you going to reach out to the right candidates and the curriculum especially, and the currency, how it is going to be managed?
There are two aspects in creating a good manager or a good leader. One is the core value aspects, and that's why you see in our curriculum, the old wine, meaning that core values remain same, the teamwork, ability to work in an organization, ability to have a good communication, interpersonal skills, etc. are always going to be important. And that is the part which is going to remain, these are the core values which we ingrain in our leaders. But then the second aspect is that AI, how AI is going to alter the supply chain. So traditional supply chain talks about maximum today is about internet-based, visibility-based enablement. But AI is going to bring altogether a new aspects to it. So how supply chains are going to see, there was a course in supply chain management, so how AI is going to alter the supply chain management itself. There was a robotics-based work organization. So when the robots come into the picture, how the assembly lines are going to be reorganized, or what are the various models of assembly lines which can happen in that environment. So the business fundamentals will remain same, but then technology will alter the way the same models or the same work environment exists. And that is what we are trying to inculcate in this course, those kind of skills that they will be able to deploy and transform the existing organization into what we may call AI and robotics enabled organization.